They're going to be like, hey, do you like John Bolton? And then the Zoomer's going to be like, that's not very Riz of you. I'm like, like this, like, what do you think is going to happen? Genuinely, I need to know, what do you think is going to happen? Oh my God. Giga Spud, thank you so much for the 7 months. And Socialism is when no fun. Thank you for the 28 months. Thank you. Oh man. Anywho, let's continue.
This other stuff, right?
Only Leo can do it. Wasn't Leo recently exposed as being part of Diddy's freak off ring?
You know, the wraparound sunglasses, it's fucked. Yeah. And like they'll message these girls and they'll say weird shit. And then like if you're a guy, it's really hard for you to get matches unless you're like probably top 10, 20% of like attractability. It's bad, man.
I totally disagree, by the way. The number of dudes that I know who are like, they are average dudes, like very average looking. I'm not saying it in like a pejorative sense at all. I'm just saying like they don't have the giga mewing jaw. They're not like swole as shit. They're like maybe a little bit lean-ish. They're like 5'8". And they get so many matches on dating apps. Like I've seen their DMs. I'm like, oh my God, you are pulling, dude. What the fuck? And then I look at their profile and I'm like, oh, your profile is fucking hilarious. Wait, I would match this. I would match this profile. This profile is fucking hilarious. Are you kidding me? You actually have like jokes. When the question asks, what's your favorite food? You don't respond spaghetti. You respond like amorphous blob that reminds me that death is incoming or some shit like that. And then you pull the goth bitches. Like you don't answer the questions with the answer that the question expects. You answer it with something actually funny. Millennial answer, TBH. Wait a minute. Terrible advice. Hey, buddy, you keep responding to the questions with answers about the question. Okay? I'm just giving it good advice. I don't know why you're not. You don't have to take the advice, man. It's okay. You can be one of the other 99% of the people on the app that respond, what's your favorite thing to do? And you say adventuring and hiking. You can be one more cog in the machine. Or, hear me out. If you're on a dating app, try make your profile picture interesting. Try make your information interesting. Make it something that stands out. Straight jorking it stuff. Stop. Oh God. Skeet shooting next to military bases. Okay, but you would pull so hard writing that.
So like there's just different problems that like men and women run into. Like it's not like they have the same problems, but they both have
Dr.
problems.
Felcher.
And it's also become pay to win too.
You might have even seen that the companies have resorted to some interesting marketing techniques. For example, Bumble got in trouble for some ads that they ran trying to convince women to no longer be celibate, I guess.
You know full well if celibacy isn't the answer. What's wrong with it? I just...
People
Jesus
weren't...
Christ, professional problem havers. Who the...
I like how when he saw the billboard, it was like a 50-50 toss-up for me if he was going to disavow the billboard or if he was going to disavow the people upset about the billboard. But then I remembered that he's porn-brained, and I was like, oh yeah, obviously he's going to disavow the people that are upset about the billboard.
Fuck cares? It's weird. I mean, why? I don't... Maybe a little bit, but like, is it worth getting upset about or putting an apology out for? I don't think so.
Too happy with these adverts.
Yeah.
Now, this is a far cry from the promise that dating apps made for us.
I mean, to be clear, like, I saw those ads and I was like, okay, this is neither going to impact my decision to install or uninstall this app. I am going to continue to ignore this app, and then once a year, I'm going to look at the app and then I'm going to close it. But I did see a lot of people that were like, I don't like this billboard because it's trying to convince people to have sex. And I was like, okay.
When they first launch, it would be difficult to believe that around a decade later, they'd be launching $500 a month membership programs.
Which, by the way, $500 a month is crazy. And the worst part is, this doesn't get you more swipes. It doesn't. It absolutely does not. It absolutely does not.
4.20 a month play site.
Blazin! Pahiso, thank you so much for the 3 months.
I could believe that. Yeah, I could easily fucking believe that. Because it's like, of course you want to do that. What the fuck? Well, it's just conspicuous consumption, so people that make a lot of money can, you know, find women that want guys that make a lot of money. It's that simple. Are people that desperate? And then...
What? That's not what happens. That's not what happens.
There's also, like, the thing is that people generally want to date inside of their income stratosphere. Like, obviously, for guys, it's like, you know, culturally, right? It's like more acceptable, like, the guy makes more money than the woman. But, like, men and women both want to date somebody who earns around the same amount of money that they do, right? So there isn't the perspective worry of an ulterior motive. I mean, it just logically makes sense, right?
We tried to understand how we ended up here. We maybe can come to some interesting conclusions, not just about these apps, but maybe about human relationships more broadly and the assumptions that we might make about each other.
Yeah.
The first thing that's worth explaining is that the decline of these apps is in large part a signal of broader trends in technology.
Yeah.
There's this idea of enshittification, the phenomenon of online platforms degrading the quality of their services.
You know what the Twitch app is? The best fucking example of this. The Twitch app is so fucking bad for this.
Straight up though, this is a based opinion. Usually when it comes to, like, I would say actually Asmongold has like a 80% accuracy rate on Twitch takes because he spent so much time as a Twitch streamer, so he actually knows a lot of the problems with Twitch and the good things about Twitch. I mean, his take on like booby streamers and his take on like the censor bar meta was like, yeah, man, if you open the rules up, people are going to take the rules to the limit. That's on Twitch to like fix. I don't give a fuck about like any of these people. And if you're mad about this, but you're not mad about any of like the inappropriate content or edging on inappropriate content that's on YouTube or Twitter, you're just mad at these particular women, which is like base as shit. I will say the Twitch app on mobile is trying its hardest to be TikTok, and it will never be TikTok, and it sucks, and I hate it so much, and I want them to change it so bad.
And shitification, yep.
The time, leading to an overall decline in user satisfaction and overall value. This is something that's really broad across technology. It is best characterized through Airbnb, starting initially as a promised land where you could rent out a spare room at the fraction of the cost of a hotel, but ending up in a situation where people are paying $200 cleaning fees and have curfews and service fees for a rental. The most egregious.
Yeah, and this is always how it is. It's the same as DoorDash or something like that. It's like, oh, it's $5 delivery. Well, what about the service fee? What about the tip? What about the transaction fee? What about the delivery fee? It's like, how do you have a service? How do you have a service fee, a delivery fee, and a transaction fee? Get the fuck out of here.
Straight up though, like, the best thing I did for myself, never using delivery apps. Never using food delivery apps. I use food delivery apps maybe once a quarter, maybe 4 times a year when I have like friends over or guests over. And I'm like, which I don't have often, like I don't usually have guests that stay with me. But sometimes when they're over, I'm like, yeah, you know what? I have a guest, I'm hosting. I'm down to use DoorDash once. But just me, I fucking don't. The amount of fees that you get hit with, and the worst part is I would be okay with the fees if the money actually went to the worker, but the worst part is it doesn't. It literally doesn't. And even worse than that is the food comes cold and half the time it's like bad. I remember the very last time I used it and I was like, I'm not using it again. I had an order from Taco Bell. Let's go Taco Bell. And I got a Crunchwrap Supreme. Let's go Crunchwrap Supreme. And there was no beef in my Crunchwrap Supreme. There was like I know nobody's Crunchwrap Supreme has beef anymore. However, there was like one speck of ground beef and it was just all cheese. And I was like, good. I'm good. I'm good on ever using this again. Also, like 2 of my items were missing.
And then that's not even counting a tip. Yes. Oh my God.
Just example of enshittification is BMW, who in 2022 launched a subscription to just unlock the heated seats that were already in the car.
Crazy. This makes me so mad because like it should be illegal to do that. Like it should be illegal. Like why are you doing this? Like there's no reason to do this. Going backwards, yes. It's so stupid. It is.
Dating apps are not immune to this problem as fundamentally they are technology companies. The most obvious manifestation of this enshittification is the idea that subscriptions are king. I don't know if you know this, but Tinder actually has 3 separate subscription options on top of the $500 a month subscription plan. These look more like
Tinder, Tinder Plus, Tinder Gold, Tinder Platinum. You know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of OnlyFans girls or Fansly or Patreon girls and like their different tiers of like, okay, this one you get personalized videos. This one you get one-on-one message.
It's so weird to compare a service that actually gives you something and a service that pretends like it's giving you something.
This one you get, you know, like everything else, right? This is nuts, man.
like insurance plans than dating apps. Dating apps have not become immune from this subscription mania, and their monetization strategy has led to them feeling more like a gacha game. If you don't know what a gacha game is, it's a game.
Yeah. Yeah, that's...
This man always seems to know more about OnlyFans than I do. I promise you, Asmongold spends his disposable income on 3 things: food delivery, video games, and OnlyFans. I promise.
I could see that.
Game that uses like a loot box mechanic where players buy in-game currency and use it to gamble effectively. In fact, Tinder actually rolled out its own in-app currency that you could use to buy special features that would increase your chance of finding it.
Yeah, skip the line, be the top profile in your area for 30 minutes to get more Oh my god. Bro, this is nuts.
It's a very overt shift towards gamification, towards implementing.
Asmongold put so many OnlyFans girls through college. Where do you think his millions go? Stop.
And game-like mechanics in a non-gaming environment.
Yeah.
The literal CEO of the parent company of Tinder is a man named Bernard Kim, who was the former president of Zynga. If you don't know
They make games.
who Zynga are, they are the company that is responsible for all of the worst mobile games.
That's crazy. Wow.
Bazinga.
What a coincidence. Damn. How about that?
You know, the ones that look like this, right? And it's no surprise that these mechanics have been transferred directly from mobile games, which are some of the most addictive games in the world,
Of course.
to dating apps. This idea of gamification, broadly put, is simply just driving engagement and driving usership, not by providing a service, but by hijacking your brain's reward circuitry and making you addicted to the app rather than enjoying the app. As these apps have become increasingly gamified, people have responded much how they would respond to...
I think that they're just trying to figure out ways to make more money off of people. I don't even think...
Excellent.
that we need to go into like psychology for this. It's just like, okay, we're going to put all of these ankle weights on you so you can pay us to take them off, right? Like, that's it. It's the same as everything else.
An actual game
Asmongold
by trying to exploit the mechanics of the game. In the world
$300. Video game purchases $500. OnlyFans subs $2,500. Please help soon. My cockroaches are beginning to starve.
Stop. Well, the thing is, you guys have all seen the very, very basic supply and demand chart or whatever. Let me see if I can pull up the luxury good one. Well, it's fine. We'll just pull up this one. We'll just pull up the super basic one. Oh, wait, actually it's pausers. I'm certainly gonna pull up the exact chart that I'm looking for, but I'll make it short. Generally, there is a point where, let's say you have 100 consumers and 100 of them are happy, and you pay like it's a $10 subscription fee for Tinder, and all of them are happy and the app is working as expected. Great, you're good. You're making $1,000 a month, whatever. As the app gets shittier and shittier, more people leave the app because the apps are all hell. And you should go form human connections in real life, and putting them online makes things worse, etc., etc. You end up with maybe like 90% of people are happy, 90 out of the 100 people, and only 90 of the 100 people are going to be paying the $10. So your profits are going down. What do you do? Or what is one option that you can do? You can just raise the price of the subscription fee, because those 90 people still want the subscription and they're willing to pay a small price hike to keep the subscription. And then you get to make up for the loss in revenue or the loss in profit by giving up those other customers, right? The app gets shittier and shittier and shittier. The price of the subscription goes up and up and up, because the people that are the most desperate, the people that want it the most, the whales of the app, will continue to pay whatever price it is. Bad trick. And the smaller the base is, the more and more expensive the price has to get. So if people are leaving these apps, is it any wonder that the price of the subscription has become absurd? You might think like, what the fuck, who would pay $500? But there are enough people paying the $500 that it makes it worth it to have available. And that the people who are not going to buy the subscription fee, or the subscription not going to pay that $500 fee, are offset by the few that are willing to pay it. Which is insane.
Dating, this manifests as hinge hacks. So there's this whole world on TikTok, which I didn't know about, of people sharing techniques and tips that you can use to make your experience of using dating apps a little better. Some of these things include refreshing your Hinge feed by threatening to delete your account, which supposedly flags Hinge and makes you way more.
Jesus Christ. I didn't realize how down bad people are. Is it really this bad, guys? This is crazy. It's, oh my God.
I mean, some people are mad. They're so down bad. Some people are so down bad. But they don't understand that, like, there's no amount of money that you're going to pay these fucking corpos that's going to help you get matches. If you want to get matches, you have to work on yourself and you have to work on your profile. Like 90% of it, I would honestly say, if you aren't getting matches, you could probably change absolutely nothing about yourself, but just change the photos that are on your profile and change the text that's on your profile, and you will get like way more matches. It's not that you're not qualified for the job. It's that you have to jump through these hoops to even get looked at.
What the fuck, man? This is crazy. I
More
didn't
likely
know
to show
this
up
at
in
all.
other people's feed. Other people's decisions have been things like choosing to use AI wingmen to create a profile that is optimized for these algorithms.
Oh god. Yeah, so people were talking about how they wanted to make AI versions of themselves to talk with people so they could filter out bad matches.
Change your picture with a base
It's
to
just-
a picture with a pack people G.
This is really something special.
Certification isn't
Yeah.
necessarily a complete explanation, though, because despite the fact that many other services in technology have been getting worse and worse, the companies seem to still be doing great. And there are some unique dynamics of these apps that make them especially prone to collapse and that can help us understand the mass exodus. Part of it is simply the fact that these apps promote the idea that they'll literally change your life. Hinge, for example, markets itself as the dating app designed to be deleted, which is an extremely big promise.
Yeah.
It's a promise that I personally, as a cynic, feel like isn't necessarily true.
Of course it's not true. Absolute fucking bullshit. Yeah, you're just saying that. Yeah, exactly. Met my wife on
I mean, I think honestly, Hinge at for some period of time actually did try and do that, but that's because there's always new people that are going to be looking for people. You can actually have an app that is successful, that is an app meant to be deleted. Because if everyone has success on that app, more people are going to try that app. And people break up, people get divorced, new people, teenagers that become adults that want to use the app start using the app. It's just that planned obsolescence has become the standard model because it makes more money. You should do a chat advice type segment for subs where you help with profile advice. Honestly, genuinely, I want to.
Hinge been married 2.5 years now. Oh, there are a lot of people that have had success stories with dating apps. Like I know people that have personally. So it's not like it's uncommon, but it's not like it's also super common either.
Hinge is owned by a $9
Robin,
billion
thanks for the 7
company.
months.
Yeah, of course it
I don't think
happens.
they want you to delete any of their
Very
apps.
pog.
I should mention that I try to consult a variety of sources, and sometimes that leads you, especially with dating, down some uncomfortable rabbit holes. And so I want to maybe address a few preconceptions that people can often have after having had a bad experience with dating apps.
Boy.
They're not an enjoyable experience for anyone, regardless of gender identity. Around 80% of women report feeling some level of burnout, and around 74% of males report feeling some kind of burnout as well.
Oh, yeah. People always do this thing where it's like women have it so easy on dating apps and like men have it so hard, which is like, yes, this is true. Women, it's easy to have sex. Basically, for a woman, it's hard to have sex, or it's easy to have sex, but it's hard to have a relationship. And for guys, it's very hard to even have sex. So like women go on there looking for relationships, but it's just a bunch of guys that want to fuck them. And then men go on there looking for sex, but it's just a bunch of single moms that want you to pay for their kids. So it's just like basically you're there, but you're looking for
Beetlejuice. The people in chat being like, true. I know 50% of the motherfuckers writing true haven't even gotten one match. Oh my god. Oh. This is one of those false equivalencies I feel like I see often, which is like men control the marriage market, women control the sex market. It's like, no, dude. No, man. People just want happy, fulfilling lives. And some people want casual things and other people don't want casual things. And it has a lot more to do with how we socially train people. Oh my God. This was a while ago. Sorry, I don't think, probably most of you haven't seen it. Sailor Swan, thank you for the tier 1. But there was a post that I saw talking about how fertility is reduced in men as you age, which is not that bold of a concept. Basically, what's the term for? Yeah, sperm has like less motility as you age, and it's more likely to have like defects. So instead of like how a sperm is supposed to look, it's like a little circle with a little squiggly, they'll be like deformed sperm as you get older. But that's just what happens when you get older. Your like cells are just worse. And the number of men in the replies that were so sure that this doesn't happen was insane to me. It was like, no, only women have negative consequences to their fertility when they age. Men don't have negative consequences. I jerk off, semen comes out. Okay, you stop having egg. Pretty simple. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Do you genuinely think there is no impact to your fertility as you age? You just think that you're just different, you're just built different. You're still a human being, dude. Like, I don't know how to explain this. Your body erodes as you age. What the hell? Men don't have the equivalent of menopause, but the sperm cells get worse. Yeah. Excuse me. Fet Style, thank you for the 13 months. All the sperm in a family can only turn left if they spin in circles. All of us are doing in vitro because of this. I can't tell if you're joking or not. Oh my god. I jorked a pee and semen comes out. Checkmate, liberals. I am sure most men do not even know that sperm and semen are different. Yeah, it was very concerning, the number of replies that insisted that this was not something that happens to men. And that there are no negative side effects for men if you choose to have kids later. It's just not factually true. It's just not factually true at all. There are negative side effects if you choose to have kids later. I don't think you should take this information and be like, well, I got to go have sex now and have a child now at 20. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I think it's a fair trade-off. And I think 30, 40, whatever, it's a fair trade-off. The side effects are still small, though. They're not. They're not. Israel, that's like my 7-year-old dad has 3 healthy kids under 10 years old. I mean, my mom had me when she was 39. Like, that's an anecdote, right? Both of these things can be true, but this is not talking about like the general statistics that show that fertility is worsened in men that are above 30 or 40. I'll try and find the article about it, about how but the TLDR on it is that oh, here we go. The TLDR on it is that we generally only associate fertility with women, and the research on fertility regarding men is so limited because of that. Unsurprisingly. Unsurprisingly. And only very recently, in the past like decade or two, we've started doing research on sperm and sperm cells and how fertility is impacted by older men. But here we go. This is I think some of the more recent stuff. Effects of increased paternal age on sperm quality, reproductive outcome, and associated epigenetic risks to offspring. Over the last decade, there has been significant increase in average paternal age where the child is conceived either due to increased life expectancy, widespread use of contraception, later marriages, and other factors. While the effect of maternal aging on fertilization and reproduction is well known, and several studies have shown that women over 35 have a higher risk of infertility, pregnancy complications, spontaneous abortion, congenital anomalies, and perinatal complications. The effect of paternal age on semen quality and reproductive function is controversial for several reasons. First, there is no universal definition for advanced paternal aging. Second, the literature is full of studies with conflicting results, especially for the most common parameters tested. TLDR, we don't have a lot of data on it because we just think maternal fertility. I mean, this is like literally the premise of The Handmaid's Tale. I mean, it's not groundbreaking stuff. Let me see. Where were we? Our exhaustive literature review has demonstrated negative effects on sperm quality and testicular functions with increasing paternal age. In addition, one second. In addition to increased risk of male infertility, paternal age also has both demonstrated to impact reproductive and fertility outcomes, including a decrease in IVF success rate and an increasing rate of preterm birth. Translation, if you are older, I think it'll eventually clarify. I think it's above the age of 35 or 40. IVF is more difficult if you are a 40-year-old man. It is more likely to not succeed. But when we think of IVF and its ability to succeed, our idea is just, well, it must be the woman's fault, obviously. It's because she's old. Meanwhile, there's so little, it's crazy, so little research on this. Let me see here. Increased paternal age has been shown to increase the incidence of different types of disorders, like autism, schizophrenia, bipolar disorders, childhood leukemia. It is thereby essential to educate the infertile couples on the disturbing links between increased paternal age and rising disorders in their offspring to better counsel them during their reproductive years. Let me see if I can find. Historically, we've just only talked about sperm count, which is why our information on this is so lacking. And everyone is only focused, most of the research we have only focuses on when your sperm count starts to decrease, but it doesn't actually talk about the deterioration of the sperm. It only talks about the fact that you have less of it. But here you can see that there's like images as well. Like, I'm trying to see if I can find some of it. Skimming. One sec. And then here we have sperm DNA damage, which happens as you age, is associated with lower probability of conception and a longer time to conception. Which I feel like is important research, and it's kind of crazy that we don't have this research, by the way. That, like, it seems obvious if you're an older man, you are going to have more difficulty conceiving. And you can go, if you're like an 70-year-old dude, you can go find like a 20-year-old chick and you would probably still struggle to conceive relative to you at 30 years old. But like, it's just, we have so little research on this, which is insane. Positive correlations have been found. Positive correlations have been reported between increased sperm DNA fragmentation, reduced motility, and ART outcomes, leading to lower pregnancy rates and higher miscarriages. Sperm DNA integrity is not only important for successful IVF, but also for normal embryonic development. It's been recently shown that the advanced paternal age and its adverse effects on sperm DNA integration also interfere with early embryonic development. It shows that sperm DNA damage was strongly associated with men age 29 to 44 years, as well as impairment of post-fertilization embryo cleavage in another study of 132 CSI patients with fathers aged above 40 years old. Sperm DNA fragmentation was significantly affected post-implantation during embryonic development. And showed that the increased sperm DNA damage negatively affected early embryonic development, significantly reduced subsequent implantation. Anyways, TLDR. Yeah. Well, then we as men can't go women in their prime anymore. Yeah. Again, not to say that you can't, right? Not to say that, like, if you're 40, you can't have kids. It's like obviously not true. It's just that you have to try harder, and also you might end up with more negative health consequences. It's not that it's impossible or that you're not going to be able to concede. It's that it just statistically will be more difficult. Why did I bring this up? I forget why I bring this up. I brought this up for a particular reason.
Sex, but it's just a bunch of
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Basically, we have managed to convince, there's a lot of reasons for this, by the way. Most of it has to do with the fact that society as a whole wants to view men as disposable so that they can send them off to war and they can send them off into the mines. And unfortunately, once you talk about how men are actually also on a timer, it ruins that worldview, and it allows us to infantilize men and allows us to build the lie that, like, oh, girls develop sooner, like mentally, like they just grow up sooner. And it's because we want to keep men infantilized. We want men to not think about their futures because we want to send them off to our war machine. So we prioritize, hey, women, you're on a timer. You have to have kids now or else your uterus will explode if you don't have kids now. We don't tell men that they should be equally as concerned about, like, fertility and should also care about good fertility and should also build good life plans and goals, because then that might be like a wake-up call for a lot of men who were down to die for the military-industrial complex. And then the war machine won't get as many people because men will be like, oh, wait, I should actually, like, plan out my life and have kids at a reasonable age and do this and do this. And maybe I shouldn't sign up for the military. Maybe I shouldn't consider myself dispendable or disposable and expendable. We don't tell men that their uteruses are going to explode. It's so sad. So, yeah, this is all just marketing, by the way. It's very sad.
Moms that want you to pay for their kids. So it's just like, basically, you're there, but you're looking for you're not getting the thing you're looking for, right? I'm a hardcore player. Yeah, that's what it is. So true. I guess so.
The unenjoyable experience is pretty evenly split across the aisle. We have some very different problems that occur, but no set of problems is one more significant than the other. Interestingly enough, men outnumber women 3-1 on Bumble and Tinder, and yet women report higher rates of negative experiences. That's not to invalidate the fact.
Yeah, it's because there's a lot of guys that are just trying to hook up with girls, and that's it. Yeah, obviously. Like, duh. Yeah, of course. Women have more experiences, yeah.
That men obviously have incredibly high rates of negative experiences, but rather to emphasize the fact that nobody enjoys the experience of dating apps. Yeah. The grass isn't greener on anyone's side. Men are far more likely to experience feelings of rejection, feelings of being ignored, whereas it seems like the issues that women report are more, well, they're different. They're different, at least, right? So a 2023 survey found that over half of women under 50 who'd used dating apps had been sent a sexually explicit message that they didn't ask for, which
I'm amazed that it's not higher.
Yeah, honestly, yeah. My God, yeah. I've had dates from Hinge ask me about my marriages and finances first date. Once I tell them I work part-time because I'm getting my degree in biology, but I make $60K full-time in a medical lab, they stop texting. There are shallow men and shallow women on there too. Oh, for sure. I mean, for every, like, dude that gets on there and, like, refuses to, well, like, sorry, let me specify more clearly. For every dude that exists that is incredibly shallow and in their head, their worldview is, I need to have a sexy, hot wife that will have kids and then immediately bounce back to a size 0 and will have abs and giant boobs that are perfect immediately after having 7 kids. For me, who will also stay at home and give up all of her life ambitions, but she has to be hot. For every one of those dudes, there is at least one woman who thinks the same thing in the other direction. Which is like, yeah, I don't care, whatever. I will have your kids or whatever, but you have to make a certain amount of money. But those people are supposed to find each other. When you run into one of those people, you're like, oh, sorry, you're mistaken. No. I'm looking for genuine human connection. What you're looking for is somewhere else, right? It's almost like it shouldn't, the way I like to talk about it or think about it is like it shouldn't personally offend you because those people are looking for something else. They're not looking for genuine human connection. The type of dude that wants like a supermodel to have his kids and then look like a supermodel immediately afterward. That's not someone who's looking for genuine human connection. Right?
As I said, if you're a guy and you can stop yourself from sending unsolicited messages with pictures of your dick to a girl, you've automatically beat out 20% of guys. You've already beat them. If you could stop yourself from sending pictures of your dick to people, you're already in the top 80%. Like 40, maybe. Right? I mean, to be fair, it's just one guy. I mean, to be fair, it's one guy showing the same dick to like 30 different girls. So yeah, it's 50%, but like that 50% only comes from maybe 20 or 10% of guys. You know, it's just copy
It's an insanely
paste.
high statistic. But generally, the issues that lead people to feel burnt out are
spam.
more broadly the failure to find a good connection, being ghosted, being lied to, feeling rejected, and having boring or not substantive.
So is it actually true that like on dating apps, there'll be like people that use photos of themselves that are like really old? And to be fair, like I actually do this. Yes, it is true. Like this photo, I took this picture when I was, I think, 25. Maybe even before then. So like this picture's almost 10 years old. Yeah, it's iconic now though. It is. I and like now I can't change it. But yeah, no, I get it. So I guess I'm doing the same thing, guys. It's common on these apps. Have you guys ever gone on, I'm just going to say it. Have you guys ever gone on a date with a girl and then she's over 50 pounds heavier in real life than she is in her photos? Has this happened?
Genuine question. Does this actually happen? It's never happened to me. Obviously, I mean, like I match with men and women and it's never happened to me ever. I'm sure it's happened before, but I feel like it doesn't happen at the rates that people talk about it. I feel like it happens like once like has it ever happened? Has it happened to anyone in here more than once? To all the people saying yes, it's happened to you more than once? To you personally, more than once, that someone has been 50 pounds heavier than they said they were? Because I feel like it's been more, in my experience, talking to people, it's been more that dudes don't know that, like, you can have a pretty thin face, thin presenting face, but weigh more. And this happens more often than you think because how much fat is stored in your face is totally genetic. I'm talking about like, there is a picture of someone's full body and they're obviously 50 pounds heavier. Not like a picture of someone's face and then you match and then you finally see what they look like fully. That's what I'm talking about. Or they tell you I am this weight and then they say that they're a different weight. I'm talking about that. I'm saying like explicit lying, not there aren't enough good photos to tell. Because I just don't feel like people are doing this much lying. I don't feel like it's a good long-term strategy. I'm a no now? Okay. Not to say that like I don't know, it's 50-50 for me because on the one hand it's like you should try and make yourself look the best that you feel like you can look, but also you should be honest or whatever. I don't know. People lie about themselves constantly online. How many times has it happened to you that you matched with someone and then told you I'm not like attacking anyone. I'm just genuinely asking because it just hasn't happened to me. But I've only been on like 4 dates. So I do think though it's rare. I did a good bit of dating. I only had one in New York City too. Oh, okay. Okay. Of my 20 to 25 Tinder dates, only one woman was significantly heavier than her photos. She had photos from like 2 or 3 years before. I feel like that's a pretty low rate. Am I wrong to say that? One in like 20 to 25 dates? And like anyways, I don't know. I try really hard to be a glass half full person and say like if this person is okay with lying about this, they probably lie about other things or they probably misrepresent other aspects of themselves. So they're kind of just self-selected for you. So you shouldn't be sad about it. They just saved you a bunch of time and effort. Also, there are classy ways to leave dates. I was single. I dated for maybe 20 years. I would say 75% of women misrepresent themselves online in one way or another. 33% of women who show up on the first date are much heavier than their pictures suggest. How are you matching with people? You must have something particular in your bio that makes people attracted to you. That makes people think that they can lie to you. You must have like a really normie hobby in there or something. That seems, compared to everybody else in chat and their rates in chat, it sounds like there's something in your bio that's making more people do it to you. Because I don't understand why everyone else is reporting like 1 to 10% rates and you're the only person reporting like 75% rates. That's crazy. It happened to me twice in 20 to 30 dates, which really is not a lot. Yeah, everyone else is saying like 5%. How are you getting 33%? What is happening?